Order up! It's time for the quiz thing. Let's play restaurant. Welcome to my restaurant. Let's call it Quizzlebees or Buffalo Quiz Wings or Olive Garden, but with Quizman. When you're here, you're Quizman. We'll start you off with some waters, and since this is your first time here at Olive Garden but with Quizman, I'll stand here and verbally list every dish we have. Salmon, jalapeno poppers, an egg dish, enchiladas, or I could just hand you a menu. I know you came here not just for the food, but for the non-essential facts. Did you know the first menus date back to early China? But when did menus start making their way into restaurants? Was it A, during the Renaissance, B, just after the French Revolution, C, just before the 20th century, or D, when the first Chili's was built? Did Chili's come up with menus? No, it's B. Before that time, customers just ate whatever was served that day. I'll have the burger. Do you see anybody else with a burger, sir? You'll have the sheep's bladder just like everybody else. Menu is a French word that comes from the Latin minutus, which means making something small, something diminished. I take every dish in my restaurant and I condense it into a small list that's easy to choose from. The thing about a menu is that it isn't very in-depth. I mean, it gives you the name of the dish, but it doesn't give you the full recipe. If you want a suggestion on what you should devour, you might rely on word of mouth. Which one of these is not an app that reviews food? Is it A, Gulper, B, Yelp, C, Food Gawker, or D, Zagat? That's a fun word to say, Zagat. I wish I'd made it up, but I didn't. That's actually one of them. If you said A, good. Gulper is as fake as this restaurant I'm standing in, but I'm willing to sell it. I'm willing to sell Gulper to anybody looking to develop an app. Reach out to me, call the quiz phone. Probably the most famous of these is Yelp. It grew to popularity when people realized that they could write unsolicited reviews of whatever they wanted, and you could be as positive or as negative as you wanted. Let's see if my imaginary restaurant has any reviews. 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. This restaurant has no food. 1 star. This app is broken. I'm using menus to talk about something really important with you. A menu boils down the real stuff into a list. It diminishes it. And I want to make sure that we're not doing the same thing with the people around us. There's no reason to dislike someone based on how they're different. No reason. Everyone has dignity and worth. Absolutely everyone. As followers of Jesus, it takes all of us to make up the body of Christ. But when we start picking favorites, elevating some and keeping others down, that's not honoring the body of Christ. That's harming it. Anytime you reduce someone to a small list of attributes or a profile, that's no longer a person. That's a menu. You're not getting the full recipe. Here are some of the ways that we sometimes diminish others. By being prejudiced. This is that thing where it's an unfair negative review of someone because of a characteristic like their race or their gender or their religion. Or sometimes we do it by stereotyping. This is when we assume that we know something about a group based on assumptions that are often untrue. Or by labeling. This is reducing people. It's making someone feel less than human through name-calling or off-color jokes. And now I know it's just imaginary, but if I really did own a restaurant and I got a 1-star review, I'd be pretty hurt. Especially if I found out that you never even ate at my restaurant. When you judge someone negatively without getting to know their full story, when you give them a 1-star review, get ready for them to feel hurt or afraid or frustrated or enraged. You're acting like you're better than them, like you somehow matter more and they're worth less. But the truth is, every one of us is equally lost and equally adopted into God's family. We have no grounds for pride or power because we all need God's mercy. And the great news is we all get it. No one is invisible to his love. Absolutely no one. We all belong to each other in the body of Christ, and each part is important. So let's not treat people like menus. Let's treat them like they matter. I'm the Quizman. Goodbye!